Hello and welcome to Jazzfire. My name's Samika, and today we're going to be talking about what do my choices say about me in this segment. So every day I make choices, and my choices show me about myself. They show me what I value, they show me what I prioritize, they might even show me some of my weaknesses and some of my strengths. And so sometimes when we're making choices, we're fighting for something or we're submitting to something. And so this segment is going to help us to look at when we're making choices, what are we fighting for and what are we submitting to align them more accordingly to God's will for our life and taking the next step in a positive direction. So I'm willing to fight for a few things. And the next few slides are going to discuss what I'm willing to fight for, things that I've really thought about and reflected upon that help me decide what is Samika willing to fight for and make time for through my choices. And the first thing is I am willing to fight for my health. And I do fight for my health, trying to get the proper rest that I need, making sure that I'm exercising and moving my body on a regular basis, making sure that I'm eating well, and creating an atmosphere around myself that's positive and healthy, and protecting my mind and creating boundaries to make sure that not only my physical health is being maintained, but also my mental health. I'm also willing to fight for my family. And I can do that through prayer, making sure that I'm praying for my family, making sure that I'm making time for them and that I'm prioritizing them, being present, even though I might be really busy. When I am there with them, even though it might not be as long as I'd like sometimes, am I present in the moment? And am I paying attention and being aware and being fully there? Also, am I setting a good example? I'm fighting for being a good example, even if I might not have be having the best day. Am I being a good example even on the difficult days? And am I being my best self? So sometimes I don't want to, I might be in the world and offering my best self outside of my home and my family. But I want to really offer my best self with my family and in my home as well. So not just giving everything away outside of my home and outside of my family life, but being my best self with the ones that I love and showing up and being present. I'm also willing to fight for my proper mindset. And Philippians chapter 4, verses 8 says that fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. And so fighting for my proper mindset is really important for me because sometimes we can have self doubt, we can linger on negative thoughts, and having the proper mindset is really important and it's something that I'm willing to fight for. And Philippians helps to anchor me in remembering things to think about and things to set my mind on. Now, there are also things in my life that I'm submitting to, good or bad, I'm submitting to something. And so the next few slides are going to really help me to understand and hopefully help you to understand positive things to submit to so that we're submitting to the right things in life and we're aligning ourselves with God's will. And so in life, we can submit to poor choices, and those choices kind of show us where we are, what we're valuing, and sometimes our perspective. And so, one of the things that I need to continue to make sure that I'm aligning myself with is submitting to God's will. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which paths to take. And so I need to submit to the right things, and submitting to God's will is really important for aligning myself with him. Additionally, I need to make sure I submit to God's timing. And I can think about times in my life in which I've been impatient. I have wanted things on my own timeline. And sometimes that can create a lot of frustration, but because things that you want and the goals that you have are not happening according to your timeline. But my timeline is not always God's timeline. And so Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. And so I have to wait for God's timing. I have to be patient, and I have to trust and have faith and hope and continue to wait on God's deliverance for whatever it is that He has maybe put in my heart, or He is working through me to do something. I have to wait on His timing. I also have to submit to God's ways. And sometimes God's ways are not my ways, right? Because, you know, I'm a human. I'm trying to work through things, and my ways are definitely not always the best way. So Isaiah chapter 55 verses 8 through 9 says that my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, says the Lord, and my ways are far beyond anything you could imagine. For just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. And this is very important because I have to continuously practice to submit to God's ways so that I'm in alignment with Him and that I'm also submitting to those things. Additionally, I need to focus on obeying God's direction. First Samuel chapter 15 verses 22 says, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams. So submitting to God's direction, being obedient is very important. And that's something for me to submit to think about, and to reflect upon. And so as we move forward, every day is a choice. Are you fighting for positive things and submitting to the right things? Or are you fighting for the wrong things and submitting to the wrong things? I think every day is a choice that we can make to properly align ourselves with our goals and the direction that we want to take and how we want to live our lives. And so, what am I going to choose? Every day, I have to continue to think about, what am I going to choose? What am I willing to fight for? And what do I really need to be submitting to? And so, what do my choices say about me? I hope they say that I'm fighting for the things that matter, and I'm submitting to God's will and His direction, which matters the most. Take care, have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.